Day one, building the van out. So here is the van with the 6 seats folded flat. Buenos dias. First step is to build a floor that then we can attach everything else to. So here's just a time lapse of me cutting the plywood to build out the floor. All the plywood I used was, I believe it's 532 thickness, and that's just from Home Depot. This is the cheapest plywood you can buy. Again, the build and the time frame is just a compromise. The thicker plywood, it would have just added more to the build cost. And I had plenty of time and I had tools, so nothing that a decent sanding wouldn't fix. So here I am just aligning the two flooring pieces of plywood. I've actually had to put a couple of packers in between the rear piece and the front piece just to get the bed a bit more flat, and then I'm just screwing it all together. The plies all actually wedged in really nicely, so I haven't actually had to screw into the van, which is fantastic. The reason I'm happy I haven't had to screw in the van is just for resale. So if I want to sell it as a camper, I can, or if someone wants to buy it for a van, I can just get rid of all the ply and there's no damage. And here's me figuring out the height of the box that I wanted my bed to be. We've got the bed frame all framed out. I've used 2x2s to add a little bit more support, and then I've also aligned them in a way that they make a lip for the filler or the lid piece just to fit in there nice and flush. And here's a look at the kitchen bench installed, and you'll see I've got 2 legs which are 2x2s. So just checking the fitment of the fridge, making sure there's enough clearance for the passenger seat. Also making sure that the door will close and there's just enough room for that all to fit nicely. So I've just adjusted a little bit to get it spot on, and then I'm going to mark it on the flooring with the pencil, and then I will remove the fridge and then screw the box that I made to the floor. So here I am just painting out the plywood. Again, nothing special. My friend actually had a fair bit of house paint left over, so that was fine. Maybe in hindsight or in future, I would do maybe more like a high gloss finish or something on the bench, just so it's a little bit more durable. So the solar panels arrived. This is me just unboxing them and figuring out how I'm going to mount them onto the van, onto the existing roof rack. So the solar panels are too wide to fit on the roof rack. So just got some aluminium angle just to widen it out. Just gonna bolt that up. And I've got some thread tape just to try to minimize it coming undone. Probably should have got split washers, but I didn't have any at the time, or maybe I didn't see them. So I'll bolt these up, screw the panels on, and figure out how we're going to wire it up. Here's just the unboxing of the power station. So it's the Blue Yeti AC50B. So before I installed the solar panels completely and bolted it to the van, I just wanted to individually plug in a panel and then plug it into the power supply and give it a test. So the first panel was great. In those conditions, I was getting about 80 watts input, which is, I think, which is 80% efficient, which is, I think, pretty good. All right, so here's my friend just helping me lift the setup onto the roof. There was a bit of tinkering required because I had to match it up with the existing holes, and when I screwed it all together, it moved a little bit. So second time was a charm with that one. So just to test and make sure it's all working correctly, just driven it out into the sun, and yeah, everything worked really well. Here's just a look at the finished product essentially. So we've just mounted them flat on the roof. I think again it's just a good compromise in terms of aerodynamics for driving, and we'll still get a reasonable charge. So here's just a little look at the Bluetti, showing 144 watts input from the two 100 watt solar panels, which I'm really happy with.
We're at Rainbow Park in Whistler, which is British Columbia in Canada. Let's go through a bit of a rundown of what the van cost. Prices are all US dollars, but I'll do some conversions for you. So the purchase of the van was $5,000. Registration, transfers, getting the vehicle checked out, there's probably another sort of $400. Car insurance, it's probably more expensive than I originally anticipated. I'm paying about $300 a month. And I'm going to do about 4 months in total, so about $1,200 there. The actual build cost itself, in terms of Home Depot, so all the plywood, screws, brackets, all of those types of things, was $300. Amazon was where I basically bought everything to go in the van, so mattress, the fan, the water pumps, that was $120, and then we've got solar panels $150, the power supply $330, the fridge $130. And then just some miscellaneous things, lighting, pots, pans, pillows, sheets, sleeping bags, all of that is another $200. So all in on the build in US dollars, 7,800-ish. I've done about 10,000 miles so far at an average of about 24 miles per gallon. And I worked out the average cost was about $3.50 US per gallon. So we're about $1,600 in gas so far.